Have you ever made an entire YouTube video out of spite? I'm the Alika Corporation, but you can call me Alika. Spelled like this and pronounced like this. You read the title, so here's what I'm going to elaborate on. How easy it is to draw functional, fictional firearms, and how easy it is to depict your fictional firearm. Hope you got all that, because we have to be quick. 2 people already clicked off when they heard the word functional. Breaking things up into categories because that makes things easier for me to understand. I don't care about you anymore. In fiction, we have 4 very generalized types of firearms. Simple firearms are just your bog standard single-shot or multi-barreled break-action guns. Repeaters encompass lever actions, pump actions, bolt actions, rolling actions, tilting actions, trapdoor actions, twist actions, and some revolvers. Automatics, which semi- and fully automatic guns both belong. And finally, what? Also known as fantasy gobbledygook that's still cool, but not what I'm monologuing about today. The first 3 all abide by something I like to call the three rectangle rule. Which just means that all you need to make a functional gun on paper is 3 freaking rectangles. Your 3 rectangles are your barrel, your bolt, and your feed source. Your barrel and bolt need to be touching end to end when firing, while your feed source needs to be located somewhere around the bolt in such a way that it can feed around between the bolt and the barrel. In simple firearms, your feed source is just the shooter's hand, so you don't need to draw it. This means you only need to draw 2 rectangles. Just make sure the shooter has some way to actually feed the round as well. In repeaters, your feed source is going to be one of many things. It could be one of the many types of magazines, a belt, a cylinder, a chain, a round housing, a gravity feed, or just about anything you could imagine being capable of putting a round between the bolt and the barrel. The action matters here, certainly, but whether you know about actions or not doesn't matter, since the 3 rectangle rule means you can hide behind ambiguity. It lines up fine, so the action can be whatever I want. No actuator? Ah, you see, it's double action. No hammer? Well, it's actually a revolving hammerless double action. The deception is endless. Automatics are pretty much the same thing as repeaters, except the gun does the repeating for you. Instead of pumping or pulling back on a bolt, recoil, gas, or some other sorcery automates it all for you. All you need to think about is how your feed source may play into the equation. If it shoots fast, you may want more ammo or an easier way of reloading. What? Doesn't matter here. It's fantasy, and I don't feel like picking on the people who thought it was a sane idea to put the tooth of a dead god in their musket so it can shoot pieces of the sun at people. You don't want to mess with those people. Trust me. Now that you have successfully made 3 rectangles on your piece of paper, we can talk about making it look like a gun. Before that, I know for a fact some of you will ask, what art software should I use? To which I say the same thing that every artist everywhere will tell you. It doesn't matter. I use Krita because it's free, and free stuff is cool. You could also use Paint.net or MS Paint. God, you can make it in Google Drawing. It doesn't matter. A crayon drawing of a tube with a stock is infinitely better than just looking up pixel art of the Thompson and slapping your logo on it. Use what you have, and if you don't like what you have, get something that's free. Anyway, with that out of the way, you're gonna draw around the rectangles, obviously. But you should take some things into account. For automatic weapons, you should consider the operating system. So if you want to go the easy route, just add a tube somewhere over or beneath the barrel to account for it. The bolt, the barrel, and anything metal around those components will get hot, so be sure to include some heat shielding made of metal, wood, or plastic. Put a handguard over the parts the user is meant to grab, or otherwise give the user something to hold on to in the first place. When making your stocks, just think about what is comfortable, and use real weapons for reference, in terms of pull length, of course. Don't just trace over the stocks. That's a horrible idea. Who would ever trace over a stock, guys? Now you have a silhouette. Ain't that neat? Now just put 3 circles somewhere above the trigger, let's say here, and some goofy attachments like slings and scopes. Then add charging handles, buttons, switches, and other things that you can say are the safety, fire select, or other functional components that you made up on the spot, and boom, gun done. Now stop stealing people's pixel art and do it yourself before I find you.